Talktainment Radio worldwide style. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest, and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk shows. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, and exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
Good day. Welcome to TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. You are now in touch with the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby, and this is radio, the way it should be heard. To join the conversation this day, you can call 1-877-932-9766. You can also go to the YouTube channel, type in the word Talktainment, and then type in the word radio, scroll down to Talktainment number 2, and you are right there. Hit the subscribe and like button if you'd like. You can also go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage and just hit listen live. That's all you have to do. And we're right there. If you would like to send me a Gmail, you can by going to 7, the numeral 7, Mr. Bobby, at gmail.com, and I will, at least your Gmail will be on file. I don't know if I'll get to read it on this show or maybe another show, but you can do that. And lastly, you can also go to facebook.com/Talktainment, and you can hear the entire program if you'd like. So there are several ways to do that. Okay, let's do this. Today's topic for Wednesday, March the 27th, 2019, is confusion. Confusion in the system of racism, white supremacy. We are going to have Mr. Fuller address that along with the Gmails that I have received concerning that, quite a few of them about that. So we're going to have Mr. Fuller address that confusion, what it is and how it works. Remember, our underlining theme throughout the entire year will be words, what they mean. What do you mean by confusion? What is confusion? And how does confusion work? We're going to address all of that. Okay, with that being said, don't forget, particularly you loyal listeners, but also some new ones too, don't forget to donate to the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. You love this show, but nothing in this life is for free. So make sure that you hit that donate button, or just donate. Okay, let me present to some and introduce to others Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. He is live from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Mr. Fuller, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm still learning.
Very good. Coming in loud and clear. Good. Okay, we're going to address confusion this day. Mr. Fuller, for those who are new to the show, when we bring up the subject of confusion in the system of white supremacy, which is racism, what do we mean by confusion according to the compensatory counter-racist logic, and how does it work?
Well, the definition would be the same that most people understand it to be, and that is, like you find in most dictionaries, confusion just means disorder or out of balance, and particularly in making decisions and having the effect on the mind of not knowing exactly what is causing something to happen or why it is happening. Any type of lack of understanding is confusion. When you don't understand understand something, you're confused. So, in the system of white supremacy, the white supremacists thrive on confusion. If there's no confusion in a situation that they encounter, if it involves non-white people, they're going to produce it immediately, because they have found from experimentation over a long period of time that when you can confuse people, you can easily dominate them. And that's the equation. It just means see to it that they do not understand what's going on, why, who's doing what, and why this is the way that it is, why that is the way that it is. And they do this in all of the areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. If you don't find confusion in a situation where there's non-white people and you're a white supremacist, then you have a duty to cause confusion. If they seem like they understand something in a constructive manner and they're doing constructive things, that's a no-no. Get in there and disrupt that. And how do you disrupt it in a smooth way without actually going around trying to kill everybody or beat someone up or whip them? That's one way that they usually, historically, have done it. But over a period of time, if they wanted to be what you call long-distance runners in dominating people, they found that it's much better if you can confuse the minds of people, get into their minds, have them going your way in all of the areas of activity, even and do it in such a way that they don't know that you're doing it. They don't understand that you're doing it. And in fact, the perfect situation is to have them doing something, them being non-white people of the entire planet, doing something that is absolutely nonsensical, absolutely non-constructive to non-white people, and think that it is constructive, and think that they also are in charge of it. And now you have a perfect confused situation, according to the white supremacist strategists. As long as you get that confused result. Because, like I said, the record shows that if you want to dominate people for a long period of time or into infinity, the best way to do it is have them have a confused mind, and that your mind is not confused, and keep them that way in every area of activity 24/7, and you can dominate them forever.
Mm-hmm. So what we perceive as being confusion, and it is confusion, but it is orchestrated by the racist white supremacists. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And you can just watch the activities of black people, and you know, when you have people who they don't even know, they haven't stopped to think the reasons why they do what they do, that is non-constructive, and they don't stop to think about the origin of what they do. Drive-by shootings, the whole thing. Where did they get this from? Well, those ideas are not new, so that means that they are copying off of someone else. Now, who is that someone else? And who is feeding them that idea? That making death is a wonderful thing. Stacking up dead people. It's going around looking for people, you know, shoot into a crowd of people, and, you know, and run down the highways, drive down the highways and get away and go somewhere and reload and prepare to do it again. And somehow this is the natural order of things. But you weren't born doing that, so where'd that come from?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Somebody taught you.
Mm-hmm. So, 1-877-932-9766 is the number that you can call to get in contact with the show and have Mr. Fuller address your concerns. Here's a Gmail. It says, Mr. Bobby, can you please ask Mr. Fuller what he meant on page 108 of the revised expanded edition, third paragraph before the use words as scientific weapons. Racists usually become greatly, if temporary, disturbed when their lies are exposed during a period when the lies must be believed in order that a particular plan to better promote racism functions effectively. What does Mr. Fuller mean by that? So let's go to page 108 of the revised revised expanded edition. And I see it. Do you have it yet, Mr. Fuller?
I have it here, and what is that, the third paragraph you said?
Yeah, he said you have it, or somebody has it in bold print. The use of words as scientific weapons.
Oh, it says that's a directive, a suggestion, on page 108 of the revised expanded edition of the textbook for victims of white supremacy. Use words as scientific weapons. That's a suggestion that I made as a remedy to helping to remedy the disease of white supremacy. Use words as scientific weapons because that's what they do. Study and use words, the definition of words, and or the production of words in such a manner as to cause the white supremacists to decide to do one of two things. In other words, this should be, for victims of white supremacy, your intermediate goal toward the production of universal man and universal woman. And there's two things that you set as a goal when you start out in resisting white supremacy and trying to eliminate it and replace it with justice. And that is, number one, replace white supremacy with justice between people, or kill all of the non-white people of the known universe. Now, that's what you are trying to force the white supremacists to do. Why? Because whatever you do to oppose them, if they're not going along with it, that's what they're going to do anyway. If they're going to kill all the non-white people in the known universe, you want to put them in that position where they have to make that decision. Either replace the system of racism with justice. That's one thing they can do, because that's what you're trying to force them to do, or persuade them to do. And the other thing, if they can't do that or don't want to do it, you force them or persuade them to actually kill all of us, the non-white people of the known universe. And it's logical, because if you're opposing something that doesn't want to be moved, you leave them with no other option. That's what you want to do. Leave them with no other options. Try to narrow down the number of options that they have when you try to persuade and or force the white supremacists of this universe to stop being white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to replace the system of white supremacy, that's number one. The logical thing that you would replace it with is a system of justice, because the system of white supremacy is a system of non-justice.
Correct.
It guarantees it. Now, if they don't want to do justice, then that leaves them with one other option.
Which is?
To kill all of the non-white people of the planet. And here's why you force them to do this, or rather, this is the suggestion that I'm making. Suppose they say, well, we're not going to do justice. So that leaves us one other option, because we're sick of you black people. We're just sick of you. We're sick of you. I mean, you're not going to do what we say, so, hey, make the rubber meet the road. I mean, either you fall in line and keep doing what we say do, which is be subordinate to an unjust system, or I'm going to kill all of you. So how do you respond to that type of ultimatum? You say, okay, go ahead and do it. You said you're going to do it, do it. You got the muscle to do it, like in The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Frank D'Angelo was talking to Michael Corleone and said, hey, here's why you got the muscle. Because you do have the muscle. You can kill all of the black people on this planet. You can actually kill them all. The white supremacists can do that. And all we can do is just try to run and hide and fight the best way we can, run all over the place like chickens with no heads, because we wouldn't know where to go to escape it. There's no certain place, there's no, designated place where we can flee to. That's clear of anybody who has, thought about it and given it serious thought. If you have white supremacy, they can go any place. Not only on this planet, but maybe on other planets. So on this planet called Earth, if the white supremacists decide that they are going to slaughter, have a mass slaughter, set a date, actually announce it, say that, hey, find a place to run and hide, and to make it sporting, because the white supremacists love to make killing a sport. That's why they write all these murder mysteries and whatnot. That's why they entice black people to make movies about killing, okay? I mean, kill is a sport. Killing people is a sport in the system of white supremacy. It's a great form of entertainment. A massive form of entertainment. So they're the same. Let's make this entertaining, all right? You black people love entertainment. Well, we can entertain you with a lot of killing, like we have been doing, and you can get a lot of entertainment yourself by dying from our killing. But we're going to make a sport out of it by saying, say this is January, give you a year to find a place to hide and to get your guns ready and everything. We'll make a sport out of it, And then we'll say, okay, you ready? Okay, because this is January the 1st of the next year. This is kickoff time, so we're coming after you. And we're going to kill you wherever we find you. Babies, everybody. Everybody black, you're going. The wagon is coming today, January the 1st of this particular year that they designate, and everybody agrees on. They're coming after you. Fight the best way you can. Run the best way you can. Hide the best way you can. But we are, when we find you, are going to kill you, and it ain't nobody coming to your rescue, because nobody got that kind of muscle. Now, this is exactly what black people are supposed to be trying to force the white supremacists of this planet to do, or do justice. Number one is to do justice. That's what we really should want. That's what I want.
Yes.
But they may decide, no, we're not doing justice under no circumstance. We're not going to give you, no, we're not doing justice. We're not in the business of doing justice. So we got another option. If you're not going to fall in line with what we've been doing all the time, we're going to kill you all. So I say, do it. And there are a lot of black people who say, well, don't invite this. It's not an invitation. It's what they're going to have to do anyway. I don't care how you approach it if you're not going to do justice. Otherwise, we have to put up with justice into injustice, non-justice, into infinity.
I don't want that. TalkTimeRadio.com is a 24/7, no-charge worldwide broadcasting facility with hosts delivering on various topics such as news, lifestyle, sports, law, health, wellness, religion, and politics. Now, here are a few shows that I will mention. How about the Wellness Spot with Tanya Karen? You can listen to that one. Or It's Your Time to Travel with Ricky Tice and Wiggins World. Somebody asked me about that in a Gmail earlier this week. Now listen, all these shows are exclusive to TalkTeamRadio.com. And all you have to do is go to the TalkTeamRadio.com homepage. Would you please, sir, would you please, ma'am, go to the TalkTeamRadio.com homepage and look up these programs. You'll see under programs, click on that, and there's a list, excuse me, of all the programs that TalkTeamRadio.com carries. Give a listen, a sample, as they say in the radio industry. Give a sample to the shows and see what they are all about. I'm sure there's one that you would like that, including this one here. Replays and podcasts. Oh, yeah. Check it out. From TalkTeamRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby, and I am the co-host on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., and today being Wednesday, the 27th of March 2019, we are discussing confusion in the system of racism, white supremacy. Mr. Fuller's addressing that, and if you'd like to get in contact with me, Gmail me at the numeral 7, Mr. Bobby, BOBBY at gmail.com. And today I'll make an exception. If you Gmail me, although we have a backlog of Gmails, I will try earnestly to get your Gmails through so that Mr. Fuller can address your question. Mr. Fuller, this is sort of unrelated, but you always speak about movies, and extra of The Godfather came on last evening in my purview, and I didn't remember this part, but there was a character in the movie by the name of Mo Green. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, that's in Godfather 1.
Yes. Well, I guess...
Casino owner.
Yes.
Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah. The part that was shown was Mo Green came into a room where I believe Michael Corleone was sitting down, and I believe Michael wanted to buy the casino. I don't know what happened. You said we could always learn something, from that. I didn't quite get that. Did you remember that part?
Yes, I remember, and that's a lesson in that. And I say that the lesson is Michael came there focused on one thing, and that is doing the business of getting into the casino business. So he was telling Mo Green that he was going to take over his casino, and that's the business he came there to do. Mo Green was thinking that might be what he had in mind, Michael that is, so he apparently said, well, if I have a big party and we can get away from talking about the business of the casino and all like that, I can just entertain him. He's a young person, and if I have enough women here and, enough wine and, dancing girls and all that, and give him some gambling chips, he'll forget all about what he came here for. In other words, deception, confusion, okay? And so he worked on his younger brother, Michael's brother, that is, getting him all set up for that particular meeting. But Michael was very well focused. Now, that's the lesson that I say in that. You stay focused.
Stay focused. Okay,
yes, you walk into a situation and they were all set to have a big party. Now, that's something that the white supremacists do with black people. The black people are party people. In the Northwestern Hemisphere and in other parts of the world probably too. And it doesn't take much. Always a party, Stretch out that one word. Stretch it out when you say it even.
Yes, sir.
Party. Okay? I've even heard black people talk like that. Start popping their fingers when they even say the word. Party. It's party time. Okay? That's to keep you from what? Concentrating on business.
Yeah, focusing on the business,
yes. But Michael said, hey, I'm here to do business, and I'm leaving tomorrow. And you think about a price on this movie.
Yeah, he did say that.
On this casino, because I am taking this casino.
Yes.
And we're both gangsters, and you understand that, all right? I'm taking your casino. And so, but I'm taking it at a price. I'm going to give you a price. Because that's the way we do business.
Yes.
And you think about a price, I'll see if I can meet that price. But you are going out of the casino business. And I'm going into the casino business. So you got 24 hours to think about it. Get rid of these party girls. Forget about the party. I'm not interested in your party. I'm here on business.
Okay.
Now that is a definite lesson for black people. Now not in the way of gangsters, but in a way of production of justice. And what is the lesson? Stay focused.
Stay focused.
Stay focused. Don't get caught up in a party when you're supposed to be doing business.
Mm-hmm.
Finger popping. I mean, that can come after you have justice.
Right.
And that's the only time it really should exist with black people.
Because I noticed that the whole time that the transaction was going on, that Michael was not smiling. He was, if you will, dead serious about the takeover of a casino. And of course, Mo Green, Mo Green's character, was extremely upset that this was going to happen. Even, I guess there had been reports that Fredo, Michael's brother, had been slapped around in public, and it was, I guess, bad for the Corleone family. And Michael, he was very, very focused on what he was about to do.
Extremely focused.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, and right up front, and didn't waste any time. I mean, he didn't sit around and talk and drink before he got to the point.
Yeah.
He didn't sit in the girls on his lap and all that type of stuff that you expect to do in a place like Las Vegas, California, Nevada.
Yes. He didn't allow himself to be distracted.
Yeah, he said, hey, I'm here on business. I stick to business.
And that's what we must do during this.
Black people should be that way all the time when it comes to anything that has to do with taking care of business. A lot of black people's meetings, when we have big conventions and whatnot, is about what? Festivity, carnival time, Mardi Gras time. And the white supremacists take advantage of that all the time.
Yeah, because I have seen that where people get to laughing and joking around and break focus on what they are supposed to be
what
there.
they're supposed to be there for. Happens over and over and over and over and over again, all over the world.
So we got to stay focused to cut down on that confusion. Okay, let's see here. Wait a minute. That's not the one I wanted. Let's see, Mr. Fuller. Okay, yeah, here it is. We're speaking about confusion here. And Mr. Fuller, probably, because we're coming up on a break, you're probably going to start answering it, but we'll have to continue it on the other side of the break. But this comes from Sam. He says this: I believe Mr. Fuller, I have heard Mr. Fuller say, you cannot call a white person a racist white supremacist without proof that they are a racist white supremacist. Doesn't the code say you will know a racist white supremacist by their thought, speech, words, or actions? If a white person, through their thoughts, believes that a non-white person is inferior, though through their speech and words say a non-white person is inferior and uses their actions to mistreat a non-white person, isn't that proof, Mr. Fuller, that white person is a racist white supremacist?
Well, what the code actually says is in the system, using logic now, the system of white supremacy is a prison system. Now, if I am in a prison, which I am in, if you're a subject to or a victim of the system of white supremacy, if you're a black person on the planet Earth, you are a prisoner of war. War was declared before you were born.
Yes.
So you're born in prison. You're a prisoner of war. Now, if you tell the warden of that prison, which are the white supremacists of this planet, that you have declared or are declaring that they are unjust and they are running an unjust system called the system of white supremacy. This is an unjust and illegal prison. The system of white supremacy is a world prison, and that you are in it, and that you have been unjustly convicted.
Mr. Fuller,
of what?
Hold that thought right there. Hold that thought. We'll come right back to it. Hold that thought. TalkTandemRadio.com. We go where you go. Download the TalkTandemRadio.com app to your cell, to your tablet. Podcasts are available. That's radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. We're going to have Mr. Fuller pick up on this thought right now here on TalkTandemRadio.com. Radio the way it should be heard.
TalkTainmentRadio.com is proud to present the compensatory concept. It is an effective system for countering the effects of white supremacy.
Is there a reason why we can't get any phone calls through? I dialed the number and I'm getting a busy signal. I was right over there.
The cost for the second hour is exceeding our limited budget. That is why we ask for your kind assistance in keeping the second hour on the air. If you believe like we do,
it's ringing. I mean, it's not ringing, but
I dialed the number, 1-800 number, and all I got was a busy signal.
On the TalkTainmentRadio.com web page.
Because I noticed last week we didn't get any calls. Somebody had written me and told me about that, and I called it in, and wasn't nothing happening.
And please donate.
Okay.
Help us to keep the second hour of the compensatory concept on the air. Thank you.
Are you ready for a high school that allows you to work at a place that is right for you? Are you ready to earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma? Then you are ready for Life Skills High School, a free public school option for high school students 16 to 21 years old. Learn more about your free high school educational options at lifeskillshs.org or call them at 1-800-888-7992. Life Skills High School, education that fits your life.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kitchen online. That's ASHKITKIN. Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kitchen products are better than those other guys. Ash Kitchen candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer.
I'm just down in
you can get more than 10% off
busy
coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right. That's ASHKITKIN.
Shop Ash Kitchen online at www.ashkickin.com.
Stand by for an important announcement for visitors and investors.
You have probably heard about this bad economy and high foreclosure rate. I'm here to bring you hope. Every foreclosed property is a blessing or a deal for a new buyer or investor. These properties are selling every day all over Central Ohio for several reasons. They are equity rich, worth tens of thousands of dollars above their price. There is down payment money available and remodeling funds if needed. Don't let the doom and gloom news keep you from your dream of home ownership. Call Lincoln Realty today at 865-9614. That's 865-9614. Call now. Always remember, these times, like all times, are good times if we but know what to do with them. They also have programs for investors who want to get off the couch and run with the big dogs. Call Lincoln today at 865-9614 or log on to RepoHomesList.com. Looking for something special for your club or group? Take a trip. Cruise planners will help you plan the event of a lifetime. Explore places from Africa to Asia, from Europe to Las Vegas to Hawaii, with special offers and make it affordable and exciting. Click on to www.greatgetawaytrips.com for great deals or call today at 614-707-SHIP. That's 614-707-3447.
Sex Cold War by Kahari Inahara, the author of the Essence magazine bestseller Race Cold War, is releasing his second book, Sex Cold War. Be on the lookout for Sex Cold War.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue.
252-715-1111.
9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information,
we seem to be having some phone issues.
4448.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brothers Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians.
No, it's
unite as one. We can serve our community better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obdn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
Ready to warm up from this cold weather? Cruise planners will help you find the perfect vacation spot. Explore exotic places from Africa to Asia, Caribbean to Las
record show that your account is past due. Before we can help you, payment should be made to your account. You can make a payment now over the phone using a checking account, debit, or credit card. You may also pay through the My AT&T app or go online to att.com.
Here's an idea. You've heard of the notion of pay it forward. It comes from the 2000 movie, Pay It Forward. Basically, the premise is helping someone with no expectations of payback.
1704.
Providing assistance to someone, passing information on, simply doing a good deed for a total stranger, and instead of allowing them to pay it back, ask them to pay it forward. Doing favors for other people and asking them to do the same. The principle is the same as multi-level marketing, except that instead of soap or vitamins, it's generosity between strangers that is being passed on. Pay it forward is literally, it's volunteering in your community. It's shoveling a neighbor's snow, or cutting an elderly person's grass for them, or taking a senior to the store. Don't wait for someone else to do something good. Do it yourself. It starts
No,
with you.
need to talk to someone.
Talktainment Radio strongly embraces the notion of pay it forward.
I understand you don't wish to pay the total balance due of $655.82 at this time. However, your service has been suspended on this account due to an unpaid balance of $655.82. If you do not make a payment for the unpaid balance, the next step will be to cancel your service, and additional fees may be applied. To prevent that from happening, please say the amount you'd like to pay. To pay the past due balance of $655.82, say past due balance. To enter the amount on your keypad, use the star key for the decimal point.
TalkTainmentRadio.com.
You can also say repeat balance.
TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. I am Mr. Bobby, and the co-host on the Compensatory Concept.
I didn't hear you. Please say
the
the amount you'd like to
back
pay.
to
enter an amount on your keypad,
addressing
use the
that
star
question.
key
Mr.
as
Taylor,
the
please
decimal
pick
point.
up where you left
You
off.
can also say repeat balance.
That white supremacy exists, that proven that a white person is a racist. There's no way for a non-white person, a prisoner of war, to prove that the warden is incorrect about anything. Who are you going to prove it to? That's where the problem is. In the system of white supremacy, if you are black and you point out a white person as being a racist, and the white person says, prove it, and the black person says, I can prove it because I say that you're racist, and you're racist because you did this, and you did that, and you did this, and the white person just sit there and look at you and say, oh, you are saying that I'm a racist, and you are proving it by yourself. Because you said it, that makes it true. And really, if you're a black person in the system of white supremacy, that's exactly what you're saying. Well, the proof is I said it. That's really what you're saying. Because there's nobody that you can go to who is not white and get to back up that proof. See, that's the key.
Yes.
You better go in, which means what? That the white person is proving it. You're not proving anything. You're black. You can't prove anything. You can't even prove that racism exists, that there is such a thing as racism. And if you say that a person is a racist, you better go get you another white person. If you're accusing a white person of being a racist, you better go get a white person to help you to prove it. In other words, so that white person will be the one who is doing the proving. That's the way that works. If you don't believe it, try it. Because no black person can back you up. There isn't a black person on the planet can say, oh, you said that Mr. Giddings is a racist, and you're black, so I'm black, and so I'm going down there and back you up. I'm going to say Mr. Giddings. I've had experiences with Mr. Giddings. He's white.
Yes.
And so I'm going down there and I'm a vouch for you. Because you said Mr. Giddings is a racist, and I'm going down there and I'm going to second the motion. I'm going to say yes, and I say he's a racist too. Well, if you try that, you see if that will work, because it won't.
And the reason why it won't work is because
the system of white supremacy will not allow that to ever happen, period. And if they allow it to happen, stop and think about this now, is because that's what they intended to do in the first place.
Okay. So
that's the way that works.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
No black person can prove the existence of racism or prove anything in a system of white supremacy. There's not a black person on this planet. They can, if you're a prisoner of war, you got no power to prove anything.
So
you have to not be a prisoner of war. See what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Anybody who's a prisoner of war, that's the best way for people to understand it, to understand war movies and stories and all like that. If you're a prisoner of war, you can't prove anything to the warden.
So to cut...
You can't even prove that you are a prisoner. The warden can say, oh, no, you're not a prisoner of war. You're in heaven. All right. And you say, warden, that's crazy. I'm not in heaven. I'm your prisoner. I'm in a cell. I'm in solitary confinement. I mean, you're talking crazy. And then the warden will say, like the warden told Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption, said, oh, you are challenging what I'm saying. Okay, I'll prove to you that what I'm saying is better than what you're saying. A month in the hole. How about that? Because that's what he gave Andy Dufresne when Andy Dufresne challenged him.
He sure did.
Right. He just say, oh, in other words, you are already in my prison, and you're going to walk in my office, and you're going to say that I'm something called obtuse.
Yeah.
Well, I'll show you obtuse.
He sure did.
A month in the hole. And then I'll come down and visit you at the end of that month and say, hey, do you still think that I'm obtuse? Well, let's give you another month to think about it, and slam the door on it.
Slam the door. So,
all right. See, now, that's why I use that movie, Shawshank Redemption, to make that point. Black people going around trying to prove to a white person anything in the system of white supremacy. You don't have no way of proving anything, up, down, sideways, or anything else. You can't even prove that you exist. If the white supremacists say, you don't exist. And you say, well, what do you mean I don't exist? You're looking right at me and whatnot. You don't exist because I said so. And I'm going to make it official. Now, what are you going to do about it? And who do you know that can overrule what I just said, other than another white person, which means you are not doing it. That other white person is doing it.
Yes.
You can't prove it on your own, and you can't find a black person that can back you up that I will pay any attention to or have to.
Yes.
That's white supremacy, folks.
That's right.
You got to understand what you're dealing with.
Exactly. So let's be clear. In order to not be confused, we have to understand, Brother Sam is writing, that the verification that somebody is a racist, a black person cannot say that, but has to say, according to Dr. So-and-so, who is white, he said that you are a racist, not the black person. Okay, because that is the way the system of racism, white supremacy works. That's how they set it up. Asking, Mr. Fuller.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how they set it up.
Not only that, that's self-evident.
Yes.
See, and black people who say Fuller doesn't know what he's talking about. All right, I say it to you, all over the world. Try it.
Yeah.
Try it. Try to prove anything to a white person about anything, and you're black in the system of white supremacy, you better go get a white person to back you up, or you got no backing. Because no black person got the power to back you up, period.
No matter if they protest till the cows come home.
I wouldn't care how many black people hit the streets and all like that. That's not no proof of nothing, because the white supremacists, if they want to, can scatter all them black people in about 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you think they can't, try them.
TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. Download the TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby. I am the co-host on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. And our discussion today is about confusion and about staying focused on what we must do in the system of racism, white supremacy. But this particular time, 45 minutes after the hour, we have Mr. Fuller discuss and talk about his book. Mr. Fuller, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, the book is what right now we're talking about. We just went to page 108. 108, and that's what the book is about. It's about what to say, what not to say. Give some suggestions on what to say and what not to say. Suggestions, they're just suggestions. You don't have to do it, just as suggestions in opposing the system of racism. That's what the entire book is about, and replacing it with something better. That something better being, hypothetically, the system of justice, which means guaranteeing that no person is mistreated, no person, anywhere on the planet, anytime, and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. That is the goal, the tentative goal, and then the ultimate goal is for all of the people on the planet to become the type of people that they should have been in the first place when the first person was created, and have what we call quality relationships, maximum quality relationships in all areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Have quality relationships between all people. As old country and western song says, nary is said a discouraging word. Everybody getting along in harmony, in justice. That's the way the world should have been. Now, people say that's utopia and all like that. Why not? Why not aim for that? We haven't had it. We've never had it in recorded history. But why not aim for it? Just because we've never had it doesn't say it can't be done. The theory is, and I certainly embrace it, it can be done, and it's our job to do it. The people who have heard of the concept of justice, the concept of harmony, the concept of people getting along in the best possible way, helping each other, not looking to hurt each other, not getting up every day like we usually do, looking around for somebody that we can curse out, looking around for somebody that we can throw something at or shoot at, because in the system of white supremacy, that's what we are directly and indirectly taught to do. So this textbook is designed to counteract that type of thinking and that type of action, and to eliminate the system of white supremacy. We make no apologies for that, or shouldn't. All right? Why? It never should have been invented in the first place. The system of justice is the thing that should govern people's behavior on this entire planet and on any other planet, guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. That's what the book is designed to help the victims to do. See, not just continuously begging the white supremacists to change, because apparently if they wanted to do that, they'd just do it. So we have to persuade them and or force them. And this textbook for victims of white supremacy is supposed to be designed to bring that about. You can get it by going to producejustice.com. That's producejustice.com.
All righty. And thank you very much, Mr. Fuller. Okay. Don't forget to donate, everybody. Please don't forget that. Okay. We are discussing here on the compensatory concept this morning with Mr. Fuller confusion in the system of white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works. And one of the things that you can take from this first hour is that we have, as victims, have to stay focused so we don't lose the perspective of what's going on. And with that in mind, we have a Gmail from Brother Weeks. He asked this, Mr. Fuller. He says, good morning, I'm still learning. He says, how can non-white people get past our need to, quote, show off to each other, Mr. Fuller?
Oh, this is a big one. I mean, real important, and something that should be talked about all the time. Showing off. This is the goal of millions and millions and millions and millions, if not the majority, of the black people of this planet, trying to figure out a way, getting up in the morning trying to figure out a way, ultimately, to do what? Show off. What do you mean by showing off? Just prancing around, doing anything to get attention. Get attention from whom? Mostly from other black people. If we tell the truth, that is really what we think about more than anything. All of our plans, when we are talking about, when we really get serious and talk about getting an education or going to Paris or going on a cruise or building a house or buying a house or getting a new car or doing anything, going and visiting your neighbors, in order to do what? In order to show off, if we tell the truth. Showing off is our ultimate objective for doing everything, for working hard, so we can do what? Make some money. Work hard. Make some money. Make some money in order to do what? To buy things. To buy what things? Things that you can use to do what? Show off. And young people pick it up right away from what the older people are doing. Generation after generation, that's the ultimate goal. Find a way to show off. Got to get some new shoes. Get some new shoes for what? Do you absolutely need new shoes? Is there anything incorrect about the shoes you're wearing, that they, don't fit or something like that? They hurt your feet? No, these shoes are just fine. Well, what are you getting these new shoes for that's being advertised? Hey, it'll be the latest thing. The latest, what do you mean latest thing? The latest thing. The latest thing. That's what you just said. Okay? You already got shoes. You're going to get a new pair of shoes. Well, they're the latest thing. The latest thing meaning what? Oh, for me to get. For you to get in order to do what? Well, to wear. And, okay, to wear. And for what? Anything else? And for people to look at and see that I got the latest thing, and I can show off the latest thing to the people who are looking at me showing off. See, that's not added in the conversation, but that's really what it's all about. And some young people will kill other people, kill for a pair of shoes. This is very important, folks. For a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes because you absolutely have to have that pair of shoes? No. You absolutely have to have that pair of shoes for one reason, to show off. To show off to whom? To anybody who happens to be looking. Mostly other black people. Because the white supremacists are not paying you no attention. I don't care what you get. First thing they're going to see, with your show-off self, if you're black, is your black skin. So that nullifies anything else that you do. Right there. That cancels out your showing off in the minds of a white supremacist. You don't have anything to show off to them because you have already shown them the one thing that matters most to them, and that is the color in your skin. So you are nothing. You are nobody. I don't care what you put on. I don't care how much money you flash. I don't care what you're driving. The white supremacists don't care. That's one thing that black people don't understand about the mentality of a white supremacist. So you're showing off to whom? Spending your entire existence trying to show off to other prisoners of war. So what is that equivalent to? It's like prisoners of war in a prison camp looking forward to going into the prison yard when the prison master gives you a break and showing off your new prison clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that is, and it's nothing else. And it's pitiful with a capital P.
Wow. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to the Gmails. And by the way, if you'd like to get in contact with me via Gmail, the address is 7, the numeral 7, Mr. Bobby, BOBBY, at gmail.com, and I will read it. And as a matter of fact, it'll go to the head of the line today. Anyway, this comes from the Gmails. It says this, hello, Mr. Bobby. Can you ask Mr. Fuller what is the best lesson that Mr. Fuller learned from his male progenitor?
Oh, the concept of justice. I saw him demonstrate that. And I saw other people do that, for that matter. And it doesn't get any better than that in a world that's dominated by non-justice. Non-justice means just going around trying to figure out a way to start trouble, to mistreat somebody, to enjoy seeing people being mistreated. That's what the white supremacists do. With all of their technology, all of their skill, it's all about glorifying mistreatment and death that's included into the mistreatment.
Now what?
And so when you learn that this is supposed to be a world in which no one is mistreated and the people that need help get the most constructive help that's available, that's an ideal situation that everybody should want.
Yes.
And anybody that's going around not thinking that this is something that should be the priority, according to the code, the book that I've written, is not thinking correctly. You're just not thinking correctly.
Now, did this happen prior to your military service? I think you mentioned that one time on shows many moons ago that you were in the service and you thought about this, putting this together, or where did this thought from the progenitor, where was it at?
Well, in my early years, I was like being born in prison. I was thinking like the other prisoners about little trivial things like prisoners do.
Yes.
Those marble games and, little nonsense things.
Yes.
Starting arguments in the cell block and whatnot. Laughing at people, making up things to laugh about. Always looking for something to laugh about. All right? Even if it's at somebody else's expense. So, but at a certain point, in my mid-20s, because of circumstances, I was always thinking seriously in the back of my mind, but it wasn't right in the forefront. Other things were going on right in front of me that were distracting.
Okay.
Okay, like it is with most black people. But when you just get to yourself, just take a walk in the woods where you look up at the sky, look at the birds, look at the clouds. There's nobody out there but you, walking in the woods. You can tell yourself the truth about a lot of things because you have filtered out all of the distractions, all of the noise that usually surrounds you in the form of people.
Yes, sir.
Those people are poisonous, all of us. I'm poisonous, even now. Why? Because I'm in a poisonous situation. You can't be drowning in poison and not be affected by the poison that you're in.
Hold that thought, Mr. Fuller. Hold that thought. TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio, radio the way it should be heard. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the second hour, and we're going to have Mr. Fuller pick it up about that poisonous thought here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
Thanks for listening to the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio.
The most important question in all racial matters is why to always ask.
Radio, the way it should be heard.
You got the power. The world's greatest radio. TalkTainmentRadio.com. Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. TalkTainmentRadio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest, and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk shows. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you.